Hello everybody, welcome to another Gundam TCG video. This video is going to be trying to make a budget deck, as the title of it kind of implies. But we have a special situation going on. We're going to be trying to make a Tallgeese deck, right? So the Tallgeese, well, it has a lot of fans. It is definitely not one of the most popular Gundam units, but it does have people who would definitely want to play it. And so today's challenge is to try to make a workable budget deck that incorporates the Tallgeese in it. So the Tallgeese will definitely be our main unit for this deck that we're going to try to be working with, right? So we're going to be running 4. And right off the bat, I want to definitely talk about the card. The Tallgeese is a level 5 that costs 4. What it can do is it can activate during its main phase. It can rest 4 resources in order to get this unit to become active again. And as long as you have an active unit, you can go ahead and attack, meaning the Tallgeese is able to attack twice at your opponent. It is able to double tap your opponent. It has 4/4, which is pretty strong, and of course it has its link, which is Sex Marquise. And so because that is the link for the Tallgeese, we are going to be forced to run 4 of the Sex Marquise himself. Himself is a level 5 that costs 1, and then during link, when you destroy a unit with battle damage, you get to draw 1 card. So you have a little bit of a blue situation going on, in which you get to draw a card, and that's as long as the Tallgeese, or whatever unit you're linked with, destroys a unit. Sex will definitely draw 1 for you. It also adds +2/+1, meaning you have a pretty strong attack on the Tallgeese, making it a 6/5 beating stick that draws when it destroys a unit. And that can attack twice if you have the resources. But that's where the weakness comes in. So it does require 4 resources, but it does to stand back up, but it also takes 4 resources for it to drop on the field. And so if it's level 5, if it's a turn in which you have level 5 and you want to bring it out, you'll be able to pay 4 resources, pay 1 more to get Sex under it, and you're going to be able to attack with it right away with the link. However, you will not immediately have the 4 resources available to swing a second time. And so that makes it difficult. So what could you do to do the full combo? Well, you'd have to be level 9, or at least have 9 resources in order to get this to go off all the way through. And so back when it was starter decks only, the Tallgeese definitely paired up with the Wing 0. It would work with the ramp up, right? If you weren't drawing your Wing 0, the Tallgeese would also have the capacity to swing with a lot of resources that you may be ramped up to. I don't think that's the modern way in which we should be trying to run this Tallgeese, or at least not now that Set 1 has come out. Set 1 for Gundam introduced the Wing 0 as well as the Death Sight, which have much better partners for the Gundam Wing. But the Tallgeese has fallen, of course, out of favor. This card is now much less than $1 at this point. So it is very cheap and is going to be fitting into our affordable options deck. And so that begs the question then, if Tallgeese can't survive until level 9, or at least get up to 9 resources, what becomes the strategy for the Tallgeese? Well, ramp up is still an option, but I think there are many better options. Plus, if you want to go into the ramp up strategy, there are many cards that are expensive that work with it as well, like the Wing, like the Gundam Wing and Wing 0 and things like that. Plus, I don't want to basically copycat a deck that already sort of exists. There are ramp-up decks that the Tallgeese is incorporated into, which people are just trying to say, well, if I don't draw the Wing, I have a double beatdown that I can do at a high level. But it is definitely a combo that would take a long time. And so what other use is there for the Tallgeese? Well, what I want to do is basically think, well, what if I could put down the Tallgeese down and then try to just swarm my opponent at level 6. And the Tallgeese being that your opponent sees it, they know they're going to have to deal with it the next turn. So if it's turn 5, going into turn 6, they definitely want to get rid of it. But what if you can just put down more things that are just as much, if not more, of a threat? against my opponent. It would have to do so for cheap. It would have to do so with using resources very efficiently. And so we are going to be looking into that. As far as we have here, there's a couple of cards that are very obviously going to help us. We have Sex Leo, which is going to be run at 2 for us. The Sex Leo is level 3, 2 resources. And when paired, you can choose one unit with 3 HP or less and rest it. So that's going to be paired with any unit. You can rest something that's 3 HP or less. It's 3/2. It's not the sturdiest or the best for the price, but it's perfectly fine here. And resting an opponent is really nice if we are looking to swarm the board, which is the plan now. This card may help us get rid of a blocker, take a blocker out of the way with 3 HP or less. It also has the Oz trait link, so it is capable of linking with Zex. However, Zex is level 5, meaning you wouldn't be able to even pull off the link until later. Now, so we have Zex being able to link with 6 units at this time. It's going to be a low level of links, but that's going to be okay because our support's going to definitely help us with that. Now, I'm going to take a moment to talk about the potential support that's kind of in theme. Typically, you'd be looking at something like Noin's Ares and knowing Lucretia, knowing herself to support Zex. That is kind of the canon situation. However, you'll see that Noin's Ares is a level 3 that costs 3. And the only thing that it does is that if it's destroyed, given that you have a Oz unit in play already, you get to draw 1. This card is level 3 that drops for 3. That means if you have 3 resources and you put this down, that's it that's all you can do. You can't do anything else. This card is terrible. It's not great at all. Its link is knowing, which adds 1 attack power to give it 3. Its level is low, but as a command, it is just simply recovered 3 HP, which may or may not come in handy much. So this is not a great support card for us. It's just too expensive. The level 3 cost 3 means that at that point in the game, we could just drop this and do nothing else. We can't even link. We can't even attack unless it's level 4. So this is a card that wouldn't be used in its earliest possible situation, which is not great. You definitely want to have cards that you can use as soon as possible and continue to pull off things. So the knowing and Ares are not going to be part of our build here. There is another card, however. We do have the Corsica base, which we're going to be running at 4. Like I said before, we are trying to swarm. The Corsica base drops for 3 on level 3. It is also one in which at as soon as possible situation you can drop and be done for the turn. But it does play a strong token. It plays a Tallgeese token, which has 4 attack power and 2 HP, which is pretty strong for a token. No blocker or nothing like that. There are tokens that are better, but it does come out standing up, which is really nice. And if you already have a Corsica base in your trash, the Corsica base, instead of putting a Tallgeese down, will just put down 2 Leo tokens, each of which is 1/1. So this kind of helps with the swarm. You can put down some tokens. If you play one and then the other, you're putting down tokens to help you swarm the board. And so the Corsica base, we're running that at 4. It is really nice. Another blue card that helps us with the swarm is White Base, right? White Base itself also puts down units. This is a level 3 that costs 2, so it lets you have a little bit more flexibility with the 1 resource you could use. Just like before, it is a base that picks up your shield, but once per turn, if you pay 2 resources, you can put down one of 3 different units, which depending on how many units you already have on the board, you will put a different unit down, right? The more units you have, the weaker the token is. But we do have tokens, so they are coming out. They are coming out from your bases. And the fact that you're running 7 bases means that you're going to last longer. Hopefully, right? Your opponent has a high chance of hitting a base. Obviously, you don't get the tokens when you deploy the base from your shields, but that's okay. You will still have your opponent has a high chance of hitting shields, maintaining you alive, which is nice. Next, we are running 2 gun tanks. Ping damage for low cost, only 1 cost, level 2, 1/2. But on drop, you get to do 1 damage. This is just a super useful card. Keeps small units from running you down quickly, like tokens, things like that, so on and so forth. right? So a very useful card. Another card that we'll be running is a Show of Resolve. This is a simple draw 2 blue command. We just sometimes use it to draw cards, and we're going to do that with the Show of Resolve here, but it's going to have a partner in crime, which we'll talk about in just a second. Let's pause. So at this point, we have the majority of what's going to make up the blue base. We have tokens and small units that can come out and be useful, but we definitely want to think about what our support color is going to be. My first thought was to go to green, right? Leaning into the tokens with more units that can drop tokens, such as the Char Zaku and the Falmo, felt like a very nice, solid way to go. But I think there's a color that works better with this deck. The fact that the Zaku 2 and the Falmo both drop rested tokens means that your tokens are going to be getting picked apart way too fast. I think that does not help. And so instead, we're going to be going with a different token, dropped a different way. We should not be using bases for tokens anymore. And so our color that we're going to lock in as our assist is going to be white, using the Striker Pack command. There's a level 4, cost 2, but it has a burst that if you hit this in your shield, you get to put down a 3/3 blocker. Or if you use it during your main, you get to put a 4/2 blocker as well. Or you can put down a 2/4 HP blocker. This is very powerful. It's a command that puts down a strong blocker token that has 4 in either offense or defense. And so we have more ways to put down bodies through our use of our tokens here. In addition to that, since our deck is going to be kind of struggling with the resources, we're going to pick a pilot that kind of helps counter that. We're going to be running 4 Soletas. Soleta has a level 4 cost 1 that adds 1 attack power and 2 HP. But it's when attacking, if this is attached, once per turn, you can choose a resource and set it as active. Basically, restanding your resources so that you may use them differently or in a better way, perhaps. We have a lot of cards that cost a lot. The Tallgeese, Show of Resolve, Corsica Base. All of these cards have a high cost. So standing up the resources to be able to do more with them, especially in the mid game, is going to be super key. So we have Soleta here. We have the Striker Pack from white. It makes sense then that we should also support ourselves with some draw power. That means for Overflowing Affection, another card of which we're going to go run for. The fact that it's a white and blue deck which means we have access to a lot of draw power through a Show of Resolve, as well as Overflowing Affection, right? So we have all of this support. We have all of this commands. We're starting to see a pattern here. We have Striker Packs for Overflowing Affection, for two Shows of Resolve, which is already 10 commands here. That's a high number of commands, but knowing that means that we're going to be able to see that, oh, well, our support makes sense. We're going to be running cards that help us with commands, and that's going to be the Michaelis, which when you have 4 or more commands, this unit gets attack power +1 and HP +1, which is really nice. A 4/4 that drops at level 3 for 2 cost is really nice. And we're also going to have the Gundam Aerial, which at level 5 for a cost of 3. However, if you have 4 more commands, he can drop for just 1. You can pair it with Soleta and attack right away, restoring one of your resources, meaning you only used 1 resource for 1 unit that linked and got an attack. That's really, really nice to have. Like, you have an additional potential attack straight from your hand that drops for cheap. In this build, it is doing some work, right? So we have the Aerial that can come in for a reduced cost. We have a lot of commands, and we're gonna just keep pushing into the command situation. So because the Michaelis just needs Academy, and we're gonna also be running Garibaldi, which is a level 3 cost 2 that also needs a Academy trait for Link. This can bounce tokens or 1 HP, which is nice with the high attack power of 4. These 2 cards, and I really haven't decided one way or the other. I feel like we could either go Michaelis or more Garibaldi, or have them all 4 be the same. But in either case, we're going to be running 3 Iron Fisted Discipline, a card that counts as an Academy pilot, meaning it can link with either of the cards that just require Academy. And it could also be used as a command, adding flexibility. This is a command that helps reduce the Gundam aerial cost, right? Or it can, or it helps when it's in the trash. It helps the Michaelis become a little stronger, right? So this Iron Fisted Discipline also can be used as a main or action command. And what it does is, well, it's level 2 and cost of 1. You can choose an enemy unit that is level 4 or lower, and it gets -2 attack power. That could be key because you can play this card from your hand and keep something from being destroyed, for example. If your opponent is, for example, trying to target the Tallgeese to keep you from attacking with it twice the next turn, Iron Fisted Discipline is capable of letting it survive by reducing your opponent's attack power from your hand. And so now we have even more commands happening here in this deck. Next, since we have the Iron Fisted Discipline, which also counts as a command, as a pilot, we might as well just run, well, 4 of our Choo-Choo's Demi Trainer. And it is a level 2 cost 2, which draws 1 and then discards 1, so that you more additional draw power, just like Overflowing Affection, but in a unit that is attacking. Strong attack at 3, it can pop a EX base, which is nice, all while filtering through your deck to try to get the cards that you might want, while linking with our command here. So it is possible that early in the game we can link and have 4 attack power and be filtering through our cards to find the ones that we want to have. I really like the Demi Trainer. I think it's really strong. Applies a lot of pressure on your opponent. The fact that it has 1 HP is not great, but again, Iron Fisted can keep it alive if something weak is attacking into it and reduce the attack power by 2, which is really cool, right? So Demi Trainer, 4 of. Next is the last card. And this card is honestly one that I haven't seen in almost any lists, and I'm excited to kind of show it in this one. We are going to just need something that's super low cost, and it's really fine that it's only a 1/1. It's the Mistral. This Mistral is 1/1, 1/1, ones across the board. But the cool thing is that when it deploys, you can choose an enemy unit and reduce its attack power by 1. I think people are unexpecting a card like this one that can reduce your opponent's attack power, and you could use it yourself kind of offensively, which is really cool. You could potentially keep a unit alive through this. You can reduce the damage your opponent claps back when you destroy something. If your Tallgeese is going for a unit that's pretty strong, you can use Mistral for just 1 to kind of keep yourself from being reduced as much or taking as much damage depending on the situation. I like Mistral being used tactically. This card is not necessarily one that you just want to drop on the first turn. I think this card could be used yourself instead of, for example, an Iron Fisted Discipline. You could drop 2 of them on your opponent to reduce their attack power by 1 for the turn. I feel like this is just underestimated a little bit. And I really like it. I think it works here. But I am just kind of being nuts, possibly. So this is the budget Tallgeese build. I'm going to be testing it a little bit, not necessarily in like a competitive nature, but I do want to see how it goes. I feel like it could be pretty consistent, especially with the things that are going on for it. And we are trying to stick to the budget, but I will mention that the Zofer Resolve is the most expensive card in this deck list. If you're playing Gundam, you should just have 4 of them anyway. But if you don't have them, this card is currently something between $2 and $3 or so each. But it is also the most expensive card in this list, and one that could potentially even be cut down or reduced because you have other cards that are doing that. The Choo-Choo's Demi, you have Show of Resolves that is drawing cards. You could easily replace it if you're more in a budget. But everything else should be cents, less than $1. Nothing crazy happening here. That, like I said, is the most expensive is your Overflowing Affection. But I'm excited for this. I feel like it could work. We'll find out, and I'll maybe write some notes as we go about. But if you have any ideas, please let me know what you think. If you feel like there's a card that fits in here very well that you think supports the Tallgeese better. If you feel like my strategy may or may not work, I really like engaging in that type of conversation. Or if you have maybe a different color support. I know I'm going with white here, but I think other colors may also work. I just really like the fact that you can stand resources back up and kind of play defense and kind of work into more of a token drop situation. But I mean, It's untested as of now, but we'll see how it happens and how it works out, and I'll let you know more about that. Besides that, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.